2019, weather the storm sky and earth watch. It's approximately 6:30 a.m. Chicago time. You're looking at a photo from Wausau Pilot, online publication of our second flood season. We had our normal spring flooding, which was above average. Now we're into summer and second flood season is here. Governor Walker declared state of emergency in 17 counties due to flooding and torrential rains in western Wisconsin. Areas received 6 to 8 inches. So here we go again with the flood season. This is coming, the state of emergency is coming only days after simultaneous but separate explosions on opposite sides of Madison, Wisconsin destroyed electric substations, causing Governor Evers to declare a state of emergency also on that day. Black smoke filled the sky over Madison's isthmus. Thousands without power. Looking around the United States, we also see Anchorage. City of Whittier declares state of emergency. Governor Newsom declares state of emergency for San Bernardino County. That was July 6th for earthquakes, I believe. Massachusetts, state of emergency. Oh no, they aren't under a state of emergency. So what exactly happens in a state of emergency? Basically, it is a suspension of your rights, your legal rights, to a trial or to not be harassed or investigated for any reason whatsoever. So in other words, under state of emergency, you can be arrested, detained, imprisoned, and probably worse, at the whim of the local foot soldiers. Any police power or authority can simply do anything they want, basically. Flood warning issued July 22, 4:17 a.m. for La Crosse, Wisconsin. State of emergency until August 22 in West Virginia, and 12 counties. Delaware state government. Okay, so July 10th, state of emergency, Louisiana. State of emergency declared after flash floods devour. Oh, that was in 2018. So basically, you get the point. There are several places under state of emergency right now in the United States. And what it does is, we're going to look at what it does. So it comes from Roman law. I don't know. This doesn't even tell us what the powers are, but I guess I'm not going to look it up right now. But before I give up so quickly, here's state of emergency definition, Collins English. A condition declared by government which martial law applies, usually because of civil unrest or natural disaster. Now, they've been telling us for years that, or we've been hearing, for years that there's an agenda to do this martial law stuff. Well, these state of emergencies are becoming more and more frequent as the weather has been intensifying. In a recent video published on this channel, we talked about rolling thunderstorms continuing to roll through the Midwest. And what they do is at the front edge, it's like a kind of a mild hurricane wind that knocks down branches and leaves and causes a lot of debris. Now here, with another story out of Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation map shows several highways closed due to debris. So debris, closed due to debris, what does that even mean? Well, what it means is that these storms are coming through almost every day. Well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe like 4 days in a row, 1 day off, then maybe every other day for a little while, then maybe 3 days off, and then, it's kind of, I don't know if there's a pattern. There might be, but it's not easy to find historical data. It seems like nobody wants to keep historical records of those things, so you kind of have to do it on your own to be able to see a pattern or a trend. But just keeping an eye on storms going across the country, it has been daily or every other day, basically since winter, with an occasional few days off from storms. So they're coming through. They are leaving puddling water overnight that gets into the roads and cracks the roads. They are knocking down trees and debris and branches, which goes into the sewers and clogs the water runoff ways, which exacerbates flooding. And now we have roads being closed because there's debris on them. Another thing that I heard recently, and I haven't researched this to look for more verification on it, but I noticed that they started closing the interstates quite frequently for, I don't know, in the central United States, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa area. I noticed that interstates were being closed quite frequently for different things, minor flooding, turned over semi, things like that, or other actions. And I had heard that local authorities, it's a new power that they've been given or recently new, to be able to close interstates. They didn't have that power before. So as we see the weather become more extreme over these last couple of years, and the season's changing, and it's hard not to kind of, well, if you're a person who who watches and listens and is aware and trying to be prepared for, possibilities. Um, it's hard not to notice that these state of emergencies are being called and increasing, and um, roads are being closed. Just something to think about. Here's we're looking at the weather for today, or right now, approximately 6:47 Chicago time. Um, it seems like almost every day that I look at these maps, there's a storm right here in the center of the country, Missouri, Illinois. Again, this line, um, allow me to draw it up real quick here. This line from Amarillo up to Chicago, um, almost seemingly constantly having storms tracking through there. You can see in the center of the country the red lines, the Mississippi River. It looks better than it did a few weeks ago, still having river flooding. There's parts of Wisconsin there that are under the state of emergency, and some river flooding, some more flooding up here. Major event up there, the Oshkosh, Wisconsin Air Show. People go from all over the world for that. Basically, closed down this year due to flooding, I believe, if I heard correctly. So these storms are tracking through here, Kentucky, Virginia, up through New York. New York had power outages recently, and that's something I want to look at too, is the power outages. So, but as far as weather alerts or warnings, severe weather warnings, there aren't really that many across the country, which is definitely a good sign. Here's the current power outage.us map. Let's see, last updated, it's July 22, 2019, 6:44 Central Standard Time, AM. So it looks like Wisconsin, Michigan, Louisiana, New York, still New York having power outages, Virginia, Alabama. So those are the top areas by outages. It doesn't mean there aren't outages other places, but you can see Michigan, that's pretty significant. I haven't heard anything about that in the news whatsoever. Michigan seems to continuously be hit hard by events such as when their water was, drinking water was basically poisoned, the whole Flint, Michigan fiasco and other areas where they cleared out entire urban areas. People left their homes. Detroit became like a ghost town, sort of. It kind of makes you wonder what's going on. Like, why do these places get hit so hard with these things that cause people to make it very difficult for them to live there? But so that's 300,000 people in Michigan. That's pretty significant. Wisconsin, 60,000. That's a lot of people. So they declare these state of emergencies in these power outages too. I mean, power's out, alarm systems are out. Looting would be very easy. People could easily just walk into places and take things. Everything's electric now. So every service, you can't look up a record at the county courthouse. You can't, nothing. I would imagine first responders aren't able to charge their radios. Their ambulances need to be plugged in to charge their equipment. So it makes sense that way to declare a state of emergency, to kind of watch things, but also or to call in troops to help with flooding. But also, on the other end of it, it is a little disturbing. I mean, shouldn't we have the ability to help people without having to call for martial law? So that's the state of things today in the U.S. Some weather, some conspiracy ideas, theories, and current power outages. And I'll end this broadcast now. Thank you for watching or listening, and stay alert.